Hi, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Jem. Mostly on this channel, I look at anything and everything to do with life and death, but I have been focusing on consciousness. Now, I want, before I continue, to say to everyone who watches my videos, I am so grateful. And even if you've only watched one video, thank you. And for those that subscribed, thank you. I am really appreciative. It seems while I have been absent that my subscriber count has gone up. All right, I'm going to explain what I have been doing. Okay. Well, when I was still uploading videos to YouTube a few weeks ago, I was also working with a client. If some of you remember, many months ago, I remote viewed Amy Eskeridge, the scientist that committed S and is no longer with us. That video reached someone she knew, and I was doing a lot of work for them. I remote viewed, I used the spirit board, and I also channeled. These are just a couple of pages from remote viewing session that I did, and I thought at the time I had made a friend, but I'm not sure. Anyway, my heart still goes out to that particular person because they have cancer. So I hope they're on the mend. All right. So let's look at what I've been doing after I left you guys. On Udemy, if you Google Udemy and it's spelled UDEMY, they offer free courses. Well, the first course I did, I actually paid for, and it was an art course, acrylic painting. I paid $22. Then there was a free course offered, and the course was how to code your first arcade game using JavaScript. So the instructor had done a 2-hour lecture, but I kept stopping and starting this lecture. So it took me a couple of days to get through his 2-hour lecture. Now, before I did that, I did a 6-hour one on aromatherapy for beginners. Anyway, the 2-hour lecture on coding your first arcade game, I thought, what's the point of coding if I don't know what coding means? So I filled a notebook up of coding in JavaScript, and here is more of my notebook. In fact, I am thinking my next video that I do, I might do a beginner's introduction to JavaScript. Now, I can see many of you rolling your eyes, but JavaScript is not that hard. If you love maths, JavaScript's a breeze. Fortunately for me, at high school, I did very well at algebra. And when I went to uni and was doing my Bachelor of Arts, one of my subjects was philosophy, and in philosophy was logic. So logic and algebra came in handy for JavaScript. Things like x plus y and if A then B. So when you are coding, and I'm also going to show you at a later date the code for Pong. And when you are learning to do your canvas, if you remember from algebra, you had an X and Y axis and graphs. Well, your canvas is an XY graph upside down. Here is my start of my code for Pong. So how you first do it is you open Notepad. You can't do it in like a Word document. You have to use Notepad. Every computer has Notepad. If you go to Windows, if you're using Windows, and just type in Notepad and you'll find it. And then what you have to do is change file extensions. So normally when you right-click the file, and you rename it, you're only renaming the first part. So when I present JavaScript, I'll also tell you how to change an extension. What do I mean by extension? If you're saving a document, your document, let's say it's called game. Usually it's saved as game.txt, standing for text. Well, to get your game running in a browser, you have to change the extension from .txt to .html, because HTML just means a web or the web address. All right. So this, I coded Pong, and the winner, the score is the best of 10. One player uses W and S to go up and down, move the little paddle, and the other one uses the up arrow and the down arrow. And when I show you the code, you too will be able to make your own Pong game. So coding and learning about JavaScript, I did over about 2 weeks. Here is JavaScript. So if you open your Chrome browser, at the top of your Chrome browser on the right are 3 dots. If you click on those dots, you go down and it'll say history, passwords. If you go right to the bottom, you'll see developer tools. Click on developer tools. That's JavaScript. That's where your canvas goes. Now, after I learnt how to code Pong, I've been doing art. So these next PowerPoint pictures are in the latest order of me doing it. So yesterday I just did a pencil drawing, and I'm not very good at portraits. I did go many years ago, 2004, I went to the relaxation center and I did drawing on the right side of the brain, and we learnt to draw portraits. We learnt to draw the negative outside. So instead of drawing a picture, drawing the shape, you draw the negative, the shapes, the negative part. All right, so this I did yesterday, and then I decided to colour her in. She looks much better, I think, now. But yeah, I'm not very good at portraits, but this woman reminds me of someone. I don't know her. She does look better coloured in. All right, I'm going to move to my next bit of art where I've been doing acrylic paints. So recently I bought metallic paints, and I didn't realize that you can't just paint with metallic colors. You actually have to have a base. So if you look at my dragon, around it I painted the background black, and then I had a bit of gold left over, so I decided just to brush over the black. And then I learnt that if I had actually coloured my dragon in black and put gold over it, it would have stood out a lot better. So this is a steep learning curve for me. When I was a lot younger, in my 20s and 30s, I used to do watercolors, and I did paintings for my kids, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, water scenes, a waterfall, and I did fantasy things like dragons. Okay, remember I said earlier I learnt in 2004 how to draw on the right side of the brain. So I went from drawing a house of, just a square and a triangle and roof to actually being able to draw. And again, mathematics comes in well here because it's all proportion. This is my therapist's favorite drawing or painting. It's acrylic paints. The sky wasn't supposed to be that color. I had to make my own black, and when I added white to it, it went this bluish color instead of gray. This is my favorite and my daughter's. So we're going backwards in time here. The reason my daughter likes this is because she had a dream of something similar. So it just reminded her of the dream. This actual painting took me about an hour. I watched YouTube acrylics, and the guy there is so good. He does the background first, and then he adds the elements. And with the background, he blends colors beautifully. This one is my middle son's favorite, and I don't like the woman. She's like a big blob. So you can see her sitting facing the water, but the water came up beautifully. You can see it looks like a reflection. And again, this is a YouTube. I copied YouTube where he did all the paper. He blended it all these different colors and then added elements afterwards. This was about the second painting I did, and you can see I've got my proportions wrong. The guy's in a fishing boat, and again I had to make my own black, so the tree in the foreground didn't really stand out well. Like I said, steep learning curve. And then old Buddha. And this was, I downloaded from Pinterest a monochromatic drawings. So I was practicing trying to do shading, and I've made a few errors, but like I said, steep learning curve, and I'm quite happy to share with you guys my artwork. So, am I coming back, and when? Well, beautiful, beloved souls, I'm in two minds. I have ideas that I want to teach JavaScript, maybe as a video for YouTube. So I've got to come back sometime, but when, I don't know. I honestly don't know. And the reason I don't know is because over the 6 years I've been on YouTube, I have, up until just recently when I took an absence and a break, I was uploading every day, sometimes up to 3 or 4 times a day, with the result of thousands of videos for very little return. When you only get 1 or 3 views, it breaks your heart. So I'm exhausted. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Can I ask that you please be respectful if you are going to drop a comments? I'm not saying my art is great. I think art is good for everybody. I think if you are creative and you just give a little bit of time, those paintings, except for the Buddha one, only took me an hour to do. And when I was focused, it really soothed me. There's been a bit of drama here at the Department of Housing. One of my neighbours was being a bitch, and I found that painting really helped me. So I just ask that you comment with respect. If only the world was more tolerant, more patient, less judgmental, less biased, less racist, it would be a beautiful place to be. So be kind to one another, smile at a stranger, you might just save a life. Most of all, take care of yourselves, because even though I haven't been on, you have been in my heart. I have been thinking of you all. And I want to shout out here to Lorenzo. Thank you, Lorenzo. A shout out to Sam, and a shout out to my dear friend in India. All right. Cherish the moment. Be grateful. Be appreciative of what you have, because what you have, someone else doesn't have. You may have eyes, you may be not well, and I wasn't not well about a week ago. I had a vaccination for shingles, and it was a free vaccination. I ended up paying money to cope with side effects of itching and flu-like, and I'm still not back to normal. All right, love, light, and blessings, and I will come back. Don't know when. Bye. And check out my books. My name, Jem Amber Stone, psychic medium and author, and a lot more too.